has been covered.
Okay. So,
Today
okay.
itself in the morning, the quantum programs was there.
Okay. So, I'm sharing my entire screen. So, is it visible to you guys?
Yes, visible, sir.
Okay, perfect. So, as the title of this session is quantum circuits, so I will be covering first what is the definition of quantum circuits. Then we will be comparing this classical circuits with quantum circuits. What are the differences? What are the similarities? And we will be learning about terminologies used in quantum circuits. And then we will see actual quantum computers topology. So basically how these qubits are interconnected and what kind of gates are available for actual quantum computers. Then we will have some example on quantum circuits, and we will be implementing some of the quantum circuit on IBM quantum computer using IBM Composer. So till now, I think this gates has been already been covered. So I will be using some of the things which already been covered. So I want the participant be interactive, and whenever I ask something, they should reply and make it more interactive and beneficial for others. So if you go for definition of this quantum circuits, then it is a computational routine consisting of coherent quantum operations on quantum data. So basically, quantum data is nothing but quantum bits, and on that you are applying some quantum operations, which are basically quantum gates. So coherent quantum operation on quantum data and concurrent real-time classical computation. So it will be taking some input from classical data also, and based on that, it will be applying some quantum gates on the qubits. So we will see with an example. Another way to look at about this quantum circuit is that it's a ordered sequence of quantum gates and measurements and reset, and all of which may be conditioned on and use data from the real-time classical computation. So these things are this quantum gates will be there, measurement gate will be there, some reset operation, and some conditional operator depending upon the measurement of this circuits and other classical computation data. On that also some conditional operations can be applied. So here if you see an example, so this slide is clearly visible and I am audible, Professor Pal?
Yes, sir,
Yes,
it
sir,
is
you
clearly
are
audible
audible.
and visible.
Yeah. So if you see here, this is a quantum circuit example shown here. So it should have this qubits. So here, if you see this horizontal lines Q0, Q1, Q2, these are basically quantum bits, qubits Q0, Q1, Q2. So this horizontal line, single line denote quantum bits or qubits, and they can be reset or you can say initialized. So in the classical also we initialize some variables with zero values. So such kind of things like if you want to initialize qubit 1 and qubit 2 with 0, then you can apply or we can reset those kind of qubits using the operators or the quantum gates. And here is Q0. If you see, it's a general uh, variable quantum state sign. It is having, and the first step, which I told that it's have some resets and initialization. So once these are done, so similar to classical. So classical, we use some variables and we initialize them with some values, predefined values, and then we apply some classical gates or operations on them. So here also we have quantum gates. So you already aware about these quantum gates. So then this on this data or qubits Q0, Q1, Q2, we are applying some quantum gates. So heart of that quantum circuit is this quantum gates. Then we measure them. So three things are there: initialization, then quantum gates, and then measurement. So in measurement, because these qubits Q0 and Q1 and Q2 are in quantum state, so we measure them. And on measurement, what we get? We get classical 1 and 0, basically classical bits we get. So we have to measure those qubits in some classical bits. So here, if you see below this double lines CRZ, so two lines are there. So it means it's a classical bit. So CRZ and CRX are basically classical registers. Z, classical register X, we are naming them. So double line denotes a classical bit. single line, if you see here, those are basically to denote quantum bits. So what we are doing is this Q0 and Q1, we are measuring into this CRZ and CRX. Okay. Here, I already told one more thing, that this whatever we this initialization and quantum gates and measurement we have done, if we want to do some conditional operations, depending upon the measurement value of this two qubits Q0 and Q1. So let's suppose we measure this Q0 and Q1, whatever their value, maybe it's 000110, it can be anything. So depending upon these values, let's suppose I want to apply this X gate. If this CRX bit is 1, then I want to apply X. So these kind of conditional gates on the third qubit Q2 we can apply using the classical condition bit values. So this X and Z gate are applied if these bits CRX and CRZ are 1. Then only this will be applied. Otherwise, they will remain. They will not be applied. So this kind of 4-component majorly there in a quantum circuit. Okay, and as we are aware that whatever algorithm or quantum program which you want to implement, core of that is basically a quantum circuit. Okay. So if you go low level, then it will be some kind of quantum circuit that is being implemented on actual quantum computer. Similar to our classical computer also, the same thing happened there. But here the different thing is that these have quantum gates, and this quantum circuit has some properties which are different from classical circuits. We will see that. So in the quantum circuit, some properties are defined, like parameters. We can say that what is the depth of the circuit. So if we take example of this circuit here, then what is the depth? Depth is basically number of stages in this circuit. So if you see this first 3 Hadamard gates denoted by this H, so it is depth 1. If you go at level 2, that is Z and H, depth 2. Then this is depth 3, depth 4, and depth 5. So if you see the depth of this circuit, that is basically 5 here. 5 stages are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So number of stages in a quantum circuit is called depth of the circuit. Okay. So generally, if we run this kind of quantum circuit on actual IBM quantum computer, and then there is a depth limit of around 80, so you cannot run circuit reliably more than 80 depth. Means you can apply gates in 80 timestamps. After that, the result deteriorated because of qubits and this quantum gate operation issues. So this number of stages, or basically time step, are called depth. So our purpose was always that to try to reduce this depth also. What is the width? So as the name suggests, how many qubits are being used in the circuit. So here if you see the circuit, there are 3 qubits being used, Q0, Q1, and Q2. So width of the circuit is basically 3. Although there are 2 qubits more available there, Q3 and Q4, but they are not part of the quantum circuit. So if we see, the width of the circuit is 3. Gate count is also an important parameter of a quantum circuit, and as the name suggests, number of gates. So always some kind of trade-off is there when we implement quantum circuits. Sometimes our requirement is that we want to minimize the gate count. Sometimes we want to have limitation on these qubits. So we want to reduce the width of the circuit. Sometimes we have this actual devices of IBM, there this depth limit is around 80. After that 80, operations are not reliable. So because the quality of the qubit cannot survive longer. So these 3 parameters we look to optimize in our quantum circuit depending on our quantum computer. Okay, and then we have this measurement gate. So these 3 important properties are there. Sometimes we have more qubits, so then we are having flexibility in the width, but qubit quality may be low, so we are restricted in depth kind of thing. So this is a kind of challenge to optimize this kind of parameter, because there is no general algorithm or kind of high level program is there so that we can reduce this kind of parameter. So heuristic approaches are there to to some level we can optimize this kind of parameters. So far so good, I think. Any issues there, participants? I can understand that the session is after lunch. Maybe you will be feeling a bit lazy. So, am I audible to everyone? Professor Pal?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay. So, yeah. So, before going into what is the difference between the quantum circuit and classical circuit, so we will briefly revisit classical circuits. So, as you all are aware about this classical circuit, that they are governed by classical physics. Means, and there is freedom that we can copy any signal or we can measure in between in classical circuits. And the input state or the initial states are basically bit vectors. Means this bit values can be either 0 or 1. They cannot be both at the same time. So if a input state vector called x and it is having 7 bits, then it can be like this: 0 1 0 1 0 1 1. It can take any other value possible with 7-bit entries. So there may be 2 to the power 7 entries. So it can have one of those value at a time. But we will see how quantum circuits or quantum states are different. So operations are defined over Boolean algebra. Means, so whatever classical gates we have, they work on based on Boolean algebra. So where this Boolean variables are there and there are defined operations, Boolean gates are there. So those are used. And there is a universal gate kind of thing there. So using those universal gates, you can implement any other Boolean logic. So can anyone tell any other set of universal gate in classical scenario? Here I have sorry.
NOR gate.
Perfect.
NOR gate.
Yes, correct. Any other? Do I need this and or not as a universal gate set? Can I reduce it?
Yes, it is possible, sir. And not, or and not.
Yes. So it can. So when we talk about the compact universal gate set, then this one of the and or can be removed, and we can have a universal gate set. So there may be different set of universal gates possible. So underlying computer generally uses this NAND and NOR kind of gates to implement Boolean logics in our classical computers. And there is already well-established technologies to have this kind of gates using CMOS ICs. And as we are aware, you must be aware, so this classical gates or this classical circuits are reversible or irreversible. So if I ask a question, this AND gate is reversible or irreversible? Participants, you all have attended session on quantum gates already. So this classical AND gate is reversible or irreversible? This AND gate is irreversible, and generally all classical circuits are also irreversible. Means we cannot go in the back direction, or we cannot go from output to input. We cannot go uniquely. So I think you all are aware about this AND gate. So suppose this is AND gate, and these 2 bits are applied, 1 and 0, and we are getting output 0. So seeing this output 0, we cannot determine this input uniquely. Why? Because this output 0 can be produced by 0 1 also and 0 0 also. So these 3 states, 0 0 or 0 1 or 1 0, all produces output 0. So seeing the output, we cannot tell uniquely about the input data. Okay, so that's why we call this AND gate as a irreversible gate. And generally, whatever gates or whatever gates we use for classical circuit, so if the gates is irreversible, then it means circuit will be probably irreversible. So generally classical circuits are irreversible. So let's talk about quantum circuits. So as I already told about in the definition of quantum circuits, so it's a sequence of quantum gates on the quantum data, and this qubits may be static, means you can supply 1 0 also and superposition also, but these gates are dynamic, means these gates are can anyone tell how these quantum gates are implemented actually in hardware and quantum computer? Anyone, any idea how these quantum gates are implemented in hardware? Anyone? So okay, how these qubits are implemented? Okay, so basically this if I talk about this quantum gates, then basically these are kind of uh, uh, light wave pulses or some magnetic pulses which are applied on a quantum bit for particular frequency for particular time, so it behaves as a quantum gate. So suppose time t I apply this frequency uh, uh, on a particular qubit, then it will change. So next time t2 I can apply the same frequency on some other qubit. In case of classical, those and this circuits are fixed or static. In case of quantum, these gates are not gates are basically dynamic. So it's kind of pulse wave with for certain frequencies. So we can apply it on one qubit and another qubit we can apply. And in case of quantum circuits, it has fixed width, means number of qubits are fixed, and same number of qubits are as input, and same number of qubits we will be having at the output or final state also. So similarity for this classical and quantum circuit is that they should be whatever logic we want to implement, it should be functionally correct, and it should be independent of physical technology. So like there are different technologies or technologies available to implement quantum gates or qubits, but our circuit should not depend on that. Let's suppose if I ask for a quantum gate such as Hadamard gate, then this Hadamard gate can be implemented differently in different technologies, physical technologies, but it should behave the logical function of Hadamard gate in all the technologies. So in case of classical, this thing are low cost, and but in case of quantum, these things are costly as of now because there is scalability issues, and these things are in research and development mode because we have small quantum computers with few qubits, but R&D is going on to have a large scale universal quantum computers. So in case of quantum circuit, they are governed by quantum mechanics. You all are aware, and these qubits can be in case of classical bits, they were 1010, but here these qubits are vectors, and it can be in superposition of 0 and 1 both simultaneously. Okay, and this is defined over linear algebra on Hilbert space, and these gates are denoted by unitary matrices. Okay, and as you all aware that these quantum circuits and quantum gates are reversible, while it was not the case in classical circuits. Same number of inputs and output lines are there, and there is one thing that called no cloning. So basically, you cannot copy an arbitrary state unique from one qubit to other. So basically, fan out is not allowed. Basically, so from one qubit you cannot take out two copies of the same qubit. Here also, we have a universal quantum set gate, like in case of classical. As you are aware, there are NAND, NOR, and other kind of universal gate sets are available. So similarly, here also we have universal quantum set gate, and their physical implementation technology also exist. So just briefly, we can see a comparison of this classical and quantum. So these are governed by classical physics. Here it is governed by quantum mechanics. In case of classical bits are there, here qubits are used, quantum gates are used, and a key difference here that this classical circuit are basically irreversible, and here in quantum, all quantum gates and quantum circuits are reversible. So there is this superconducting technologies is prominent technologies which is being used by IBM, Google, and many other companies in development of quantum computers. So so far so good. Any question is there till now, participants? Or say hi, because maybe connection is okay and you are getting the things. Professor Pal?
Yeah, sir, absolutely. You are getting.
Okay.
But I hope this post launch session,
Yes, yes,
the
maybe.
participants are actively participating. But
Yeah. So I request participant to be interactive and don't write in the chat box. You can
yeah,
simply,
that is highly solicited.
yeah. So simply unmute yourself and you can ask question, or if any doubt is there, then you can clarify it. Okay. So have you guys seen this quantum computer topologies earlier session anytime? This FTP. So
Yeah,
here,
sorry, sir.
yeah. Have you seen this quantum computer topology of IBM devices in any session previously?
I don't think so.
Okay. So what's your name? Who is there? Hello.
One participant has answered no.
Okay. So I want to listen to some participant who is active and say no. So here, one of the this IBM has lots of quantum computers, and they made it available on cloud. So you can simply log in into the website, and you can create your quantum circuits, or you can implement your quantum algorithm, and you can run that thing on a actual quantum computer. So basically, you create your circuit or program, and you submit it, and it is being run by IBM on actual quantum computers, and you get back the results. So here in the slide, what I'm showing is that it's a device named IBM 16 Melbourne. So this device has 15 qubits. So this circle represents these qubits, and how these qubits are connected is shown here. So if you see here, that qubit 0 is directly connected to qubit 1 and qubit 14. And this is the topology basically they have implemented in their quantum computer design. So in the single qubit gate, there are this kind of errors are there. So CNOT gate, if you apply, then this kind of error values are there. So they have provided this kind of errors in their single and multi-qubit gates, and it has this kind of basic gate. So as we already know that there can be several universal quantum set gate. So this device uses this kind of gate: identity U1, U2, and U3. Basically, U1, U2, U3 are nothing but a rotation around X, Y, and Z axis, and CS is our control node gate. Okay. So what this device is doing is that whatever your quantum circuit is there, it will convert that circuit into these kind of basic gates to be run on this device. Okay. So maybe you are implementing your circuit using some Hadamard and some other gates, and this computer will break down those operation into its native operations, ID, U1, U2, U3, and CX. Okay. So I just briefly want to recap this in two slides, that what is this reversible circuit and how why it is useful. Okay. So before going to that, uh, can anyone tell me about this C node gate and control node gate, Toffoli gate? Can anyone tell? Anyone participant, please? Participants, please. What is a C node gate? So C naught is nothing but a 2-qubit gate, where this 2 qubits are X and Y, and this first qubit X is a control qubit, and this Y is a target qubit. So whenever this first qubit is 1, the second qubit is flipped. Naught is basically means flipped. So if you see as an expression, that is nothing but X plus Y, or you can call it XOR X XOR Y. Okay, so we can see like this. Okay, so let's suppose if I put x is equal to 0, then what will happen? So it is 0. So it is 0. So this y, suppose y only. So if this x is 0, then 0 XOR with something will be remain same thing. If you XOR something y with 0, it will remain y only. So in case of this x is 0, it will not change the target qubit. Okay. But suppose if it is 1, okay, then what is the definition? If you put x is equal to 1 here, 1 XOR y will be what? Y bar. If you XOR something with 1, then it will complement it. So it will become y bar. So basically, this NOT gate will be applied only when x is 1. So this is called control NOT gate or CX gate. Okay. So keep this thing in mind. Can anyone tell about this gate, Toffoli gate? Participants? Participant? I'm asking about Toffoli gate. Toffoli gate, or what we call CXX, CCX, control NOT. Participant? Anyone? A participant, Jagbir is actively writing in the chat box. Jagbir, are you there? Jagbir? No, don't write. You can speak out. Unmute yourself and speak out.
Actually, sir, he has some issue with his mic. It is one way. He can't speak.
Okay. So anyone else? Is there? Mamta is there? Mamta, can you speak out? Mamta? Mamta is there? Okay, mic is not working for you guys. Why it is happening? Okay, writing it will not be interactive. Can anyone else? I think Sokar is there. Pendian Sokar, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So, Pendian, yeah, I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Pendian.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Yeah, Pendian, I need your help in making this session interactive because
Okay, sir.
people, some of are not able to speak out.
Yes, sir.
And some mic issues are there. So
Okay, sir.
my question is that as you guys already had session on quantum gates, so here I'm asking, what's a Toffoli gate? It's an important gate you must have heard in the sessions.
Yes, sir.
sessions. And it is called also control NOT gate. So,
Yes, sir.
so can you help us in telling about this gate? Suppose there are 3 qubits, ABC are there.
Yes.
And if I keep this first 2 qubits, A and B as a control qubit, then
Yes,
what
sir.
will happen on the third qubit? Is it like that?
Yes, sir.
So what is happening here? Can you tell, Indian? So these first 2 qubits
Yes.
are what?
Our control qubits.
Control qubit. So they will not change. They will
Yes,
remain
sir.
same. They will change the target qubit C. How they will be changing? If I want to write an expression for it, can anyone tell? Pendian, if you, yeah, anyone else? If Pendian is not able to answer? Anyone else? Okay. So, Pendian, so you might be aware that whenever this 2 control qubits, qubit A and B, the top 2 qubits are 1, then only it will change the target qubit C. So
Yes,
it will
sir.
behave like this: C XOR AB. Means when this both A and B are 1, then this AB will become 1. So it will be C XOR with 1. So XOR with 1 will change, complement the thing. So whenever this both A and B are 1, then it will complement the target qubit C. Otherwise, they will remain same. Okay. So Pendian, if okay, so this is Toffoli gate. 3 qubits are there. First 2 are control. Third one is target, and it will be depending upon the value of A and B. It will change. So suppose I want to use this as a, just a second. I think I have clicked something wrong button. I have clicked. So, but my question is that this Toffoli gate has some properties. What is the important property this Toffoli gate has? Can anyone tell? This Toffoli gate, it has some important properties. So this Toffoli gate can be used as a NOT gate. Can it be used? Okay, suppose I want to use this Toffoli gate to implement classical AND gate. Can I use it? Suppose using this Toffoli gate, I want to implement A and B. AB I want to implement here. So if I want to AND these 2 qubits A and B, and I want to get it here, then what should be the value of C?
It should be 0.
Perfect. What's your name?
Sridhar.
Sridhar, thank you. So when this C is 0 in this circuit, it will behave as a AND gate. Okay. Suppose I want to AND the value of C. Sorry, not. I want to complement value of C. Means I need C bar here. So what should be the value of AB?
1.
Both A and B should be what? Is it okay?
Both should be 1.
When both A and B are 1, then this thing will be 1, and you are XORing C with 1. So it will be basically C bar. So here if you see, using this single Toffoli gate, we can implement AND gate, we can implement NOT gate, and we can also implement XOR. So basically, if you are able to implement these 2 gates, AND and NOT gate, using Toffoli, so if you remember in the previous slide, this AND plus NOT gate becomes a universal gate set for classical circuits.
NAND gate, correct.
Yeah. So you can implement NAND gate, and if you're using that NAND gate, you can do anything in classical.
Anything, right, correct.
Yeah. So I will be using this Toffoli gate and C-NOT gate. So C-NOT gate, you are aware? C-NOT gate, I already told that 2 qubits are there. First is control qubit X, so it will be X XOR Y. Okay. So yeah. So let's come back to the slide. I want to finish this 2-3 slide, then we will be going with the example and other thing. Yeah. So just now we have seen that this Toffoli gate can be used as a universal gate for implementing all classical things, because using this Toffoli we can implement AND and NOT, and basically NAND gate we can have. So using Toffoli we can implement all classical computations. Okay. But the thing here is that this circuit should be reversible and this gate should be reversible. So this Toffoli gate is reversible and it is available in quantum computers. Okay. So, but there are some circuits or some gates which are available in classical, which are not reversible, which are irreversible. So how we can make them reversible? So in 1980, this Banach and Toffoli told that we can do it. Suppose we are having this classical computation where I inputs are there to the circuit, and we are getting Fi, which is consist of only M output bits. So N inputs we are supplying, and we are getting M bit output. Okay. So and this generally this N is greater than M. Okay. And we already know that using this fewer output bits, you cannot get uniquely many input bits. So This way computation is done, but we cannot go in reverse uniquely in classical. So how we can make this classical circuit reversible? By overhead of bits. So you need to add extra bits both side. Okay. So let's suppose n inputs are there. So this n inputs are there. So what you need to do is you need to add n output bits here. So these are basically n bits. Okay. And as we know that this output Fi is consist of m bits. So you need to add m here. So here you already know that this is n bit and it was m bit. So originally it was n bit input and m bit output. But to make it reversible, if we add this extra bits, n bits at output and m bits as at input, then we can make a circuit, classical circuit, reversible. And once we have a reversible version of this classical circuit, then we can implement it in quantum computer. Because the condition for quantum circuit is that it should be reversible. Okay. So the example also has been given for this. Let's suppose you have already this circuit. Okay. So the thing which we have learned in the previous slide is that so if you have this classical AND gate function and we are having, so what we can do is it was taking two inputs A and B. So you have to add two output bits. So we added this A and B here, and one bit output we are having here, and in input you need to add how many output we were having? Only one. So we need to add one extra input bit. Okay. So in the output we add two bits and in input we add one bit. The same thing. So here this n and m in our case is 2. So input n is equal to 2 bits and output was 1 bit. So m was 1. So we are adding 2 in output and 1 in input bits. So we are adding it, and the logic is like this. So you have to XOR with the input bits. Okay. So J is the input bits. So I will remain same. So whatever input bits are there, they will remain same here. In the output, you will be keeping as F XOR the input bit. Okay. So here what we are saying is that basically by adding some extra bits, we can make a circuit reversible, classical circuit, and then we can implement it in the quantum computer. So okay. So what I want to do here is that I want to take an example of classical circuit, how that thing is implemented in classical and how that circuit will be implemented in quantum computer. So if you remember half adder circuit, can anyone tell what is in half adder? Anyone? What does this half adder does? Anyone? Anyone, please?
The output will be 1 when inputs are different.
No. It basically takes 2 bit as an input and give it sum.
Yeah. That is
Okay.
0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0,
Yeah.
1, 0.
So yeah. So what you are telling me here is what's your name?
I'm Sridhar.
Sridhar. Yeah.
Sridhar.
So basically what you are telling is that, yeah, Sridhar. So what we are telling is that if you supply 2 bits as an input, then you need to have this sum, and this sum is denoted by the sum value, sum bit and carry bit.
And
So
carry
there will be
bit,
2
correct.
bits output. Yeah. So how to calculate that sum? Sum bit will be what? And what will be the carry
XOR.
bit? Carry bit is not XOR, carry bit. So whenever this both the input A and B are 1, then there will be a carry.
Yeah, correct.
So that is basically AND operation. So when both A and B are 1, then there
Yeah,
will be
and
carry.
operation. Yeah, and
So
operation.
basically carry bit is AB. What is the sum? Simply XOR.
XOR, A XOR B, or say X XOR Y.
Yeah. So here we are taking A and B as notation. So if you want to implement this half adder, then what you have to have is this XOR gate you need and AND gate you need. Okay. So let's suppose we have this AND gate with us. Okay. So just we apply this AND gate. So what we will be having here, AB.
That
let's
is carry.
suppose- Yeah. Suppose that this is our XOR gate. Okay. And this is then again, then what we will be having here, A XOR B.
XOR B, correct.
So this 2-bit information will give this sum AB. Okay. Because this sum value A plus B will be a 2-bit value. Okay. And so it will be a 2-bit value basically. 2-bit value. In that the LSB will be what? LSB will be the sum bit. And MSB will be what? This carry bit.
Carry bit.
Perfect. So why this half adder is important? Can you tell Sridhar why it is important? So Sridhar, can you tell?
I mean, important in the sense.
And in classical computer or classical circuits, we have this kind of half adder used for variety
Using
of.
2 half adders, we can have 1 full adder.
Okay, and using the full adder, what we can do?
Using full adder, we can implement any circuits, like any arithmetic
No.
circuit.
Yes. So whatever arithmetic. So using this half adder, we can create a full adder, and using the
Yes.
full adder, we can have operation like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So
Multiplication,
basically,
yes.
this is,
Yeah.
so this half adder is a very important fundamental component for large arithmetic operations. Okay. So these half adder are basically implemented in the ICs itself. Half adder, full adder in this operation. Even multiplication is implemented as a full adder circuits and component of those. So basically in that IC, you just supply the bit values and it will give you directly the multiplication of the values. So underlying these half adders are used in this full adder and then this multiplication operator. So it's important in itself because to implement all arithmetic operations. So now if I ask you in classical, what is happening here is that using this 2-bit value and these 2 gates, you have implemented this half adder circuit. If I ask you, can you implement the same thing in quantum? So just now I told about this CNOT gate and this Toffoli gate. So suppose you are given those gates with you, can you implement this half adder? Sridhar?
Yes, sir, it is possible
So
to
we are
implement.
Yeah, so we are given Toffoli gate.
In Toffoli gate, we are getting AB.
So
Then we are getting.
suppose, yeah. So Sridhar, let's draw the circuit for others also. Suppose this is our A, this is our B. Can I take another extra qubit? Let's call it Y. No problem. Yeah. So after this, at this end, I need these 2 operations, AB and A XOR B I require. So using this quantum gates, Toffoli and control node, can I get this AB and A XOR B? Because half adder is doing this thing only, na? Inside this gates are implemented, but outside we are getting these 2 bits.
Correct.
So I need here 2 things, AB and A XOR B. So how I can get using this quantum gates? So this Toffoli and control node are basically quantum gates. We don't have this AND gate available with us in the quantum scenario, but already we have seen that using Toffoli we can create an AND gate.
If we set the control gate as 1, I mean control as 1, and we'll get AB.
No, we should
No,
keep it
zero.
zero.
Why should
So
be
that-
0 to get AND gate?
And
Yeah, why should be 0?
So it should be behave like this.
Yes,
Yeah. So
correct.
so what will we be getting here? 0 XOR
AB.
with AB.
AB.
So if you
So
XOR
is
with
AB
0,
only.
then it is AB. So AB. So you got this carry
Yes.
bit. I need this A XOR B also. So how we can get that?
A XOR B.
So if you remember control node gate, it behave like this. See here.
Yes, sir.
There are two
Correct. And
qubits.
if we have another control, second bit as the control, we can make it out.
So
B as the
you want to
control.
apply this B as a control,
Yes, sir.
and target is
Target is B only.
no.
No. Oh,
see
B
here.
as control. So the target is AB, A XOR B.
Yeah. So if you need A XOR B, then you can let's suppose if you want to keep this B as a control, then your target should be what? A.
A should be the target. Correct. A should be
What
the
will
target.
happen here? Here it will remain B, but what it will
B will
become?
remain A
So it
XOR
will
B.
be B XOR A or A XOR B.
Correct.
So perfect. So we got the sum here and we got the carry here. So this is our quantum circuit. Okay. And if you are aware about this thing that quantum circuits are reversible. Okay. So if I apply this C naught gate again here,
Sir, by
after the
chance,
circuit,
sorry to interrupt, sir. By chance, if
Yeah.
I change that, if I make B as control, I mean, if I put that,
yeah, you can do this also.
it's also possible, sir.
Yeah, sure. But you need to keep depending upon you what gate or what is controlled and target. So now
Yeah.
it will be B XOR A and it will remain A.
It is A XOR B and A will be, yeah, that is same,
A.
sir. A will remain
So-
constant.
So in
It will
this
not
case,
change.
your answer lies in this second and third qubit, here
Right,
and here.
sir.
First
Correct.
qubit is not your answer. Your answer
Ah.
lies in second and third qubit.
Second
Okay.
and third. Correct. sir.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
thank you.
whatever way you do, you have to keep this thing in mind that where your answer will be there. Okay. So this we can implement in a quantum. So basically, what will happen is this thing will be implemented by this quantum gates, and this line denotes qubits. Okay. So here you have seen that you can implement half adder using quantum gates. Now, just one more thing I want to ask you. If you are able to make a half adder, can you make a full adder circuit? So first we will see classical full adder. Then we will see how we can implement that. Sridhar. So in case of full adder, what will happen? Full adder is nothing but
Carry will be given as input to the second full adder, half adder.
so see like this. There are three inputs.
Correct, sir.
A and B are basically bit values, and C is previous carry.
Carry.
So you want to add this A plus B plus C. You want to make here.
I will give A and B as input to one half adder. I will collect the output.
Mm-hmm.
That will be sum and carry. And I
Yeah,
will
so
give
Sridhar,
sum and
Sridhar, we want to implement it independent of this half adder. Forget half adder.
Okay.
We want to implement
Okay.
this thing. So how we can do?
right. Fine,
So-
fine. A, B.
So what will be sum?
Sum will be A plus B plus
A-
C.
A
Or B,
XOR B
A
XOR
XOR
C.
B XOR C. Correct, sir.
What will be carry?
Carry will be
AB,
AB.
XOR
AB XOR
BC,
BC. XOR
XOR
AC.
CA.
CA. Correct.
So whenever these two qubits will be, so depending upon the ABC value, it will give us carry. So let's suppose this ABC are or 1, then what will be the value of sum? Suppose
it
this
will be
ABC are 1.
one and carry is 1.
Yeah. So we can test it. Like this is the classical thing. If we implement this kind of circuit and this kind of operations we apply and we do this thing, then we can implement full adder in classical. We can also use this component half adder and we can implement full adder. But here we have done with this simple thing. Now
Correct.
I want to implement this logic in quantum. So quantum full adder will look like. So I want to implement this A XOR B XOR C to compute the sum, and to compute the carry I need this thing. So how you can do in the quantum case? Let's see here. So one extra qubit I am taking. this is my A, B, and C. Okay. So Sridhar, we have those two gates, C, CX, and CX with us.
Correct. CCX and CX. Then
So suppose if I apply this CCX gate from this to here. This A and B are control, and our target is this last. You can call it as D. It is initialized with 0 value. So what we will have here? 0 XOR with AB.
AB XOR with
0. So basically it is AB only.
AB only. Correct.
Okay. Suppose I apply C NOT gate from first to second, A to B. So what I will be getting here?
I will be get A XOR B.
Perfect. So let's suppose I get this thing here, it will be remain same. It is A. Suppose now I am applying get like this. This thing and this thing are control, and this is our target. So what it should
That is
be?
A XOR B XOR C. We are going to.
So it will be AB XOR with this D
AB
XOR
XOR
with A XOR B
then C.
and C. Huh?
Correct. And C.
Look like this because it is C only. It is A XOR B.
Yeah.
So now if you open it, then it will become what? This C we are multiplying inside. So it will be AC XOR BC.
BC.
We already
Then
have
we
this
have AB already. Yes, AB already we have.
So basically, carry we have computed here. If you see,
Correct. Some we have computed. No,
No,
carry we
carry.
have. Carry.
and
Yeah, carry.
now I ask you, you want to compute the sum. So here you already have this A XOR B.
A XOR B is already there, and C we can have.
So simply you apply C NOT gate from this to this.
Yeah, C not get
Here
there.
it is. So it will be what? C XOR with this thing.
A XOR B.
So if
So
you
the
see
sum
this thing,
output will be at the C line.
yeah, and here this it will remain same A,
A will
and
remain
it will
same.
be what? It will be A XOR B.
A XOR B.
It will be A XOR B XOR C.
C, correct. Then
It
we
is
have
carry.
AB XOR AC XOR BC, that is carry. Correct.
Perfect, Sridhar. So here what we have seen is that we took an extra qubit D and initialized with 0, and we applied these two instances of CCX and CX, and we are able to implement full adder circuit.
Full adders.
Perfect, perfect. So what we are telling is that as we already know this Toffoli gate, that is basically CCX, is a kind of universal gate for all classical operations. So whatever thing is available in classical, we can implement using CCX. Okay, and that we also already seen here also that we want to implement this sum and carry, and we are able to implement using CCX and CX. So let's just see how we can do this thing on actual quantum computer. So are you guys aware about this IBM platform? IBM Quantum Experience. So maybe you can also open this thing with myself, with me. So if you search IBM Quantum, so then you will be having this website.
Okay.
Just now, IBM Quantum Experience. If you type, then this is your URL: quantum-computing.ipm.com. So you will be prompted to log in using some. You need to create your login. So simply using your Gmail or other mail ID, you can log in. So once you log in, you will be having this kind of interface. Okay. Are you guys want to try with me, or just want to see here and then can do it yourself afterwards? Sridhar? Sridhar?
Let us try, sir. Because just I visited IBM Computer, IBM Quantum I am getting. So
Yeah. Just log in. If you are able to log in, then you can log in.
just a
Meanwhile,
minute.
Professor Pal, are you there?
I think it may take a little time. So
Yes,
it
sir,
is
I'm here.
better, sir, we will do it later.
Yeah, no problem. So just now you just
Ah.
learn how to do it, and then you can do it yourself later on.
Correct, correct. Sir.
Because-
Otherwise, it will take time. I mean,
Yeah.
all the
And
participants
you're
may
also
be.
running out of time also. Yeah.
Yeah,
So once you log in, you will be having this kind of interface. So here this option comes, Composer. So you need to go there. Okay. Once you go there, you will have this kind of interface. So as you can see here that this is basically Quantum Composer means like in music we have this 7 basic sounds. So using those sounds you can create any music. So here also Composer means you have these basic quantum gates with you, and using these basic quantum gates you can implement any big circuit or any algorithm or any application you can develop using these
is
gates.
it like dragging and putting
Drop,
the?
yes. So it's a
yeah.
GUI kind of interface. You can simply drag and drop these gates
Okay,
on
right.
this platform here. So,
Fine.
so here first what we will be doing is instead of we can create new circuit.
Yeah,
So
new
you
circuit,
can,
and
if you
automatically
remember-
those bits will come 0, 1, 2. I mean,
Yes.
3 qubits will come. We
Yeah,
can
so
add
then-
more number of qubits if
by
required.
clicking on this plus
Yeah.
button.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hit delete also. Okay.
Right, sir.
So
Right,
in
sir.
case of our half adder circuit, you remember we require only 3 qubits. Half adder I want to implement here. See
Yeah,
here.
3 qubits.
So AB and this third qubit should be initialized with 0.
Control. Yeah, correct.
So to initialize the third qubit with 0, we can put this reset value here 0. So your third qubit that is basically Q2 is initialized with 0. And now this first 2 qubits A and B you want to sum. So if you just instead of revisiting the circuit, just draw according to this control node. From this A and first 2 qubits will be control and third will be target. So there is this Toffoli gate available. This is Toffoli gate. So you simply drag and drop here. So it is being applied here. So first 2 qubits Q0 and Q1 are control, and this target will be flipped depending upon the value of first 2 qubits. Then you need to apply this control node from first to second qubit. So let's do it. So simply we apply this CNOT gate. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to put some, okay, so let's keep it simple right now. Okay, so this is our quantum circuit for half adder.
Half adder.
Okay.
Correct.
Perfect.
Okay.
So
Yes,
you
sir.
can have this kind of circuit. Now what I want to tell is you here is that if you run this circuit, so basically whenever you do not initialize some qubits with something, then they are basically by default they are 0. So
Okay.
these 2 are also already 0. So if you
0.
add this 2 bits 0 0, then you will get 0 0.
0, 0 output. Correct.
Let's make it 1. So what I want to do is I want to make this first qubit as 1. So simply apply NOT gate. So when I apply NOT gate, so this first qubit will become what? 1.
It will be 1.
Okay. So in case of this first bit is 1, and if you see our circuit here, so
That
first
is-
bit is 1. So what will be our
Correct.
sum
Sum will be 1
and carry?
and carry will be 0.
Perfect. So this third qubit will be 0, middle qubit will be 1, and it will be 1. Okay. So see here, this is our third qubit. This left one, if you see in your screen, this left one, this 0
Yeah.
is our bottom qubit. And
Correct.
so this is our carry. So carry is 0. This sum bit
And
is, middle bit is
1.
sum 1.
Middle bit is sum
And
1.
And first qubit is our not our result. First qubit
Yeah.
is basically holding the
As it
first.
is. It will remain as it is. That is 1.
Perfect.
Correct, sir.
So if I input this, let's suppose I put this at here, then also what will be our sum and carry? They will remain same. Sum will be what?
Sum will
Sum
be
will-
1 and carry will
Carry will
be
be 0.
0.
Carry will be 0. So this 2 qubits is holding our result. Are you able to see that? 0 1?
Yes, sir.
So
Correct. 0 1
whether,
0 equals.
yeah. So this right 0 is basically the first qubit 0. So
Zero.
our result was in this two bits, that is basically 0 and 1.
0 and 1.
Now if I put this value here, then what will happen?
Naturally, sum will be 1 and
carry will be?
sum will be 0, carry
carry-
will be 1.
So see here, these two bits. So our
Yeah,
carry is
1.
1, carry is
Sum
1
is
and sum is 0. Okay.
Correct.
And totally it is basically binary 1 0 if you see, then it is basically 2. If you
correct.
put that into the decimal. So
Yes,
if your 2 bits input as 1 1, then you will be getting decimal 2.
2, 1 0, correct.
Perfect. So now you are able to implement that half adder circuit. Okay. And
With all
you can
the
see
possible
here
inputs we have.
that, so you see here that in case of our classical half adder, what was the problem there? That this classical half adder is not reversible. See here, if these 2 bits A and B are input and I get this carry is basically our AB. So suppose I get this carry as 0. Okay. And if I get sum as 1 as an output. So can you guys seeing this outputs? AB is basically our carry and it is our sum 0 1. Can you tell about the inputs AB uniquely?
It is not possible. We have two
Not
options
possible.
for it.
Or basically, if I want to say that, can you traverse in the reverse direction uniquely?
We cannot. We cannot
cannot.
uniquely traverse.
But
Yeah.
if you see our circuit here for this half adder, you can go in reverse direction also. Or basically, if you see the outputs here also, then also you can tell. Let's see in the here also. So if I say this thing, carry is basically this thing is 0, and this sum is 1, and okay. So in the case of quantum circuit, what we are having is this extra information we are having. Okay, this A bit. So suppose this is 1. Okay, then what it means? So if we are having this output 1 1 0, so we know that this is our first qubit is 1. So what we can do here is that B XOR A is basically 1. It means B must be 0.
0.
And this it is also it's already 0. So because of this extra qubit here and this quantum gates, so this thing is reversible and you can tell uniquely about the input. Okay, so here also in classical we can do that thing, but classical generally we do not have this extra bits. So generally in input we have more bits and in output we have lesser bits, or generally mostly 1 bit as an output.
Yes.
In
correct,
classical.
correct.
But in case of quantum, you can see here this circuit is reversible and same number of inputs qubits are 3 are there, then we can measure them. So as one important operation I already told that you need to measure them. Okay, suppose you measure it. Okay,
Okay, we are measuring it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then how
So-
to do reversible? I mean, how to understand that it is reversible?
so if you apply in case of this quantum gate lecture, you must have heard that these quantum gates are reversible. So there exists a U-Dagger gate for an operation U.
Okay, correct.
And sometimes in case of Toffoli and control node, they are self-inverse.
Self.
So if you apply NOT gate C naught again here, then it will be nullified. Means,
Okay.
just a second, if I write here. So you might be knowing this thing. Na? U-Dagger is basically identity. And this is the quantum gate U. So there will always be a U-Dagger operator in quantum gate. And if you apply this U and U-Dagger, then you will get the identity. Means U inverse is nothing but U-Dagger. And sometimes this U-Dagger is nothing but they are equal. Okay, so what that means to say is that U is equal to U-Dagger. Means if I apply U 2 times, then I get the identity. Like in case of X gate, if I apply X 2 times, then I
You will
get
get
identity.
X back. Identity.
Similarly, also for CX also, if you apply CX 2 times, then you get identity.
Correct, sir. Okay, sir.
You can see here also that if I apply C note here, see here, then what will happen? This is X, so it will be what? X XOR Y XOR X. If I apply, the first time I apply, it become X XOR Y. Now I apply C note get again. First time I applied, it become X plus Y. Now I apply C note again, then it will be what? See, this thing is already there, XOR with X. So XOR with X will cancel out and it will become again Y. So see here, this was our input, and again, if you apply this 0 2 times, then you will get the same output.
XY we are getting as output. Correct, sir. So it is reversible. Correct. Okay,
Yes.
sir. Thank you.
So quickly, I want to tell you one more thing here, that how to run this kind of circuit on actual quantum computer. Here, what we are seeing is that simulator result, or it is not being run actually. To run that thing on actual quantum computer, you can go in this corner, set up and run. Okay. We will be seeing more of it in tomorrow's session also. So see here. Here, IBM Q Manila. If I see here, it is available. So this is quantum computer's name, and it has 5 qubits. Okay. And there are total 8 jobs pending. Okay. So it is list busy. So I want to run this circuit on this IBM Manila quantum computer. Okay, if I use this, then okay, so there are lots of, okay, let me run it on this Santiago I run. So I just submit into that, and maybe I can, yeah. So once you select the device and you click the button run, so then what will happen? Sorry. So see here, your job is pending here. So this job is submitted with this ID. Okay. At this time. So, okay. So I will check the result just afterwards. Meanwhile, what we can see, what are other options here? So see here, there are two kinds of things. You can have actual quantum computer with you also, but since you know, okay, let me submit it on this device also, IBM Q Manila. Okay, so I submitted into that device also. Okay, so it has been submitted on this Santiago and Manila both. Okay, and in both of them it is pending, means it is in queue. Once the device is free, it will be run on that device and will get the result. So meanwhile, what I want to tell you here is that here you can choose your quantum computer. See, there are lots of quantum computers freely available for you to run your program. So see there, this IBM Q Bogota, it is available online, and there are 13 pending jobs. Qto, 27 pending jobs. So IBM Bellum, 14 jobs are there. So these all are these quantum computers, and here also you see some simulators. So one of the mostly used quantum simulator name is IBM Q Quasum Simulator. Okay, so you can run your circuit on this quantum simulator also. So okay, let's run it on a quantum simulator, and this simulator has 32 qubits, means it can simulate a circuit with 32 qubits. Okay, so let's run it on that simulator also. So see here, see here, this simulator thing has already been completed. See, Quasum simulator, it's been completed. So we can see here what is the result of that simulator. Are you guys with me? Details, if I want to see, okay, see more details here. See here, this was our output 101. So the first two bits is having our answer of that half adder. So this carry is basically 1 and our this thing what sum is 0 because our both the inputs were 1 1, both the input bit were 1 1. So in that case sum was 0 and carry was 1. So here also we can see that it is we are getting it with 100% probability. We run this circuit 1000 times and almost all the time on simulator we get the same result. Okay. So in case of if we run the circuit on a simulator, basically, so whatever gates we are applying, those are available in simulator, and the transpiled circuit will be same. So the whatever circuit you implemented will be remain same and run on simulator. Okay, let's see what happened on that actual quantum computer when we run the circuit. So see here, jobs, and see here. So we are trying to understand these things with a simple example, but same thing are valid for larger or complex application also. First, see this thing that our circuit was this, but the transpiled circuit become different. Are you able to see this here?
Yes, sir. We can see.
So what is happening is that we are having only this 1, 2, 3, 4 gates we are having. And in the actual transpiled circuit, what we are having is these many gates. So what happens here is that this, what is the computer name? IBM Q Manila. If you see that device specification, IBM Q Manila, let's just see it once so that. So what happened here is that Manila. So this is the details of this device you can see here. See here. This has this native gate collection. Control node identity, rotation around Z axis, rotation square root of X gate and X gate. So this quantum computer has this basis set of quantum gates, and whatever operation is there in your circuit, it will convert them into its native operation. Okay. SX, X, RZ, and identity control X. So it is basically its universal set.
It depends on the basic gates available in that quantum computer. Right?
Perfect. Yeah.
Right.
So it will convert that thing into its native gates. So it's been automatically done. So you need not to do it. It will be done automatically. So here we can see. So basically, if you see here, this control node gate is broken into smaller 1 and 2 qubit gate and been implemented. Okay. So this thing I want to explain that this original circuit and this transpiled circuit can be different. Like in programming also you see now that you write some operation and something and this compiler itself some
compiled version object program will be different. So something like that.
Yeah, and sometimes it's
on the
right
target machine. Okay,
yes.
Okay, right.
But the result will be same. So result will not be affected.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So see here the result. The result, if you see, okay. Just a second. Details. But in result, if you see here, out of this 1000 trials, so can anyone tell that why we run this quantum circuit many times? Anyone? Means this quantum circuit we do many times. Why? Here I have run this circuit 1000.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Sir, because this is probabilistic in nature, the outcome is probabilistic in nature. So that is why to get
perfect.
That is why to get the right answer, because the outcome will be in probabilistic in nature. So in order to get the correct answer, we run it again and again. Most probably 1024 times by default.
Yes. So so that we can have the actual behavior of the output. Na? Let's suppose it is saying that 80% time you will get this, 20% time you will get this. But if you run the circuit one time, then maybe you can get this 20% kind of thing also in your answer. But as you know that this 80% of the time is the correct thing. So if you run that thing 1000 times or 2000 times, then you will get this kind of probability distribution. So see here, 791 time I got this answer 101. So it means these are wrong answer. The correct answer is this one.
Okay.
Or whatever the high probability answer which we are looking for will be with high probability distribution.
Correct. Okay.
Okay, and sometime error also happen because of this thing. You are seeing this thing with this 001 also you are getting with almost 92 times you are getting this thing. Why? Because this quantum computer has different kinds of errors in the qubits, in the quantum gates, and other errors are also there. Due to that also you are getting these other answers. Okay.
Okay, so sir, actually, hello.
Yeah, please.
Sir, actually, when we run this circuit on the actual hardware, then noise is inherent. So
Yes.
that is why we will not get the right answer. But if we execute it on the simulator, then we will get the right answer.
Perfect. So we have already seen that simulator result, na? So we were getting this thing correctly there. We were not getting this other answer, na?
Yes,
Yes,
Thousand
right,
times we are
right,
getting
sir,
answer.
right, sir, right.
So this noise basically you are talking is that basically errors in different kind of operation on a quantum computer, like this gate, single qubit gate operations, multi-qubit gate operation, they are not perfect. Means there are some errors. So if you see here that the slide I told there, na? If you see here, yeah. So that thing you can see also that, and the single qubit operation, U2 means basically around Y rotation. C naught is C here. C naught gate. Okay. So this error is this much, 1.7 into 10 raised to the power minus 1. So these kind of errors you get. Means if you do this thing in 1000 times, then out of those 1000, sometime you will get wrong answer also. That C naught should behave, ideally what it should behave. It should behave like this. It should not change the first control qubit. It should change the target qubit only. But if you run the C naught operation 1000 times, then sometime this X will also flip. That is basically wrong. So due to different kinds of noises or errors, we are getting these other results in the circuit here. Okay. But if you run this circuit one time and in one time you get this 001 answer, then you will say this is our answer, but this is not your answer. The answer will lie with high probability. So, and the other thing is that this quantum behavior is basically probabilistic. So you have to run it more time to get probability distribution of the results. So this thing is clear, I think here. Any doubt here in this composer? So you can again ask, because this composer thing will be used in the tomorrow session also. So any doubt in this composer using? So I request you guys to explore this composer tonight.
Yeah. We'll practice tonight and maybe tomorrow we will have.
Yeah.
doubts.
So okay. So similarly, can you guys implement that full adder circuit? This circuit, you can take a snapshot of it and then you can implement it tomorrow or maybe tonight.
Yes, sir, we'll try.
So
Right.
basically what is required there? 4 qubits are required.
4
First
qubits.
Toffoli from 1 to 2, 4th qubit, then C naught, and then Toffoli gate, then C naught, and you will be having our answer on the 3rd and 4th qubit.
Correct.
So maybe you can implement it at your own tonight, and we can discuss if doubt is there tomorrow. So far what we have covered is that how these quantum circuits are different from classical, and how we can create reversible or reversible gates or reversible circuits from their classical version, and that can be run on quantum computers. And here we have also seen a small example how to use this composer and create a quantum circuit over here and run it on a simulator and run it on a quantum computer. So I think I am done with the agenda of the talk. If any question is there, then you can ask me. Jayanta, over to you. If any question is there, then participant can ask me.
It was very interesting, sir. We will try full adder circuit and other possible small circuits tonight. And
Yeah.
if we have any queries, tomorrow we will discuss, sir. Thank you very
Sure.
much. It was very nice. Nice.
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, if there are any other queries from any other participants, you may please share.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have a query, small query.
Yeah, please.
Sir, please tell me, sir, suppose, sir, if we want to execute a circuit which contains more than 5 qubits,
Yeah.
and here we are seeing that most of the, I think, hardware which we can access, they are only up to 5 qubits. So in that situation, what we have to do, sir?
Nishit Saxena. Yeah.
Ji, sir. Ji,
So
sir. Yes, sir.
there is this thing is there. If you see here, just open that page. In the this what do you call graphical GUI kind of composer, you are able to see or visualize 5 or 7 qubits only. But
Yes, sir.
there is another version which is called Qiskit, and their proper programming interface is there. In that, you can use many more qubits. So,
Okay.
like if you see this device, IBM Q Melbourne, so here 15 qubits are there in that device.
Okay.
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 So
Okay.
you can use those 15 qubit in your quantum program also. And there are other devices which are kind of proprietary by IBM. So some researcher or expert or some company fellow can use those devices with more qubits.
Okay,
But
sir.
you can always simulate those qubits up to how much? 32 qubits you can simulate always. See here. If you use this Quasar simulator, then you can have 32 qubits. So you can simulate 32 qubits. Okay.
Okay.
In case of devices available, so 20 qubit devices also available.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, so why this? You should be curious about why we are having only few qubits up to till now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So because in designing this kind of qubits and this quantum gate operation, there are serious engineering challenges because this quantum computer should remain at this sub-zero temperature, basically minus 273 degree kind of temperature without any noise, any vibration, any heat, anything. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and despite that also this qubit life is in some microsecond.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And if you see here this diagram, then you will be able to see this thing that these qubits are connected like this. So if I want to apply some control node operation from this 7 to 0, okay,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
some control node operation from 7 to 0 I want to apply, then what I have to do is I have to do some kind of swap and this operation, and then I can apply. So you
Yes,
cannot do this C naught operation directly from 7 to 0.
Yes, sir.
C naught can be applied when these two qubits are adjacent.
Yes, sir.
So using the swap gates, you try to take this 7 to at this place and then do this thing and then again swap. So basically, yeah. So this is one more and this errors.
Sir, actually, lot of heat generated, and mitigating the noise is a big problem, I think.
Yeah. So tomorrow in the session, if you guys are interested in how to mitigate those kind of errors, so one kind of this measurement error we can mitigate using some techniques.
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you.
even this measuring also we get errors. Like
Yes, sir.
if
Yes,
you
sir.
create some qubit in zero state and you measure it 1,000 times, then sometime you get one. You
Yes, sir.
created
Yes,
some qubit in zero state and you are just measuring it. So ideally in classical scenario, it happened with that we get zero. 99.999% chance we get zero only. But in case
Yes,
of
sir.
quantum, due to these noises, we sometimes get other result also.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So-
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah,
can I
please.
have a question, sir?
Yes, please. Yes.
Sir,
What's
the
your
error.
name?
Yes, sir. Pandian.
Pandian, yes, please.
Yes. So the errors we are discussing, is this the error like we got from the simulation or from the quantum computer itself?
No, a simulation just focus on this quantum computer. Basically, actual quantum computer has this kind of issues.
Okay, sir.
Simulator, what we are trying to do is on a classical computer,
Okay,
we are trying to simulate actual behavior of quantum computer.
yes, sir.
So there in the simulator, you can put the errors zero also. You can like IBM Santiago, if we are discussing, then
Yes,
we
sir.
know the error values. So
Yes,
we
sir.
can plug those error values in simulator,
Yes,
and we
sir.
can see that this behavior of circuit on Santiago will be like this.
Okay,
So
sir.
simulator, we have options like simulator. We can put some errors according to devices also,
Okay, sir.
and we can take as an ideal device also. But
Okay.
simulator is nothing but a classical computer only. So
Okay.
you cannot simulate more than 550 qubits or so on a
Okay, sir.
classical supercomputer also.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Professor Pal, any question
Yeah,
is there?
yes, sir.
Yeah, please. If any question is there, I'm open to you, and you can write me mail also. So
Yeah,
that
sure,
will be
sure.
useful for me. So
Yeah, any
my
participant, if they have any,
yeah. So you
Yes,
should
sir.
have questions. Like I have written my mail ID in the chat box, so you can note down. And afterward, also you can ask me some question or queries there.
yes, sir.
If any more question is there, then I'm willing to take.
Okay, sir. So anyway, it was a very wonderful session and a very interactive session. You have made the participants to interact and to understand and also to participate actively in the session. Thank you for your valuable time, and we look forward for your second session tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Thank you
Okay.
very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Professor Pal, one more thing that I
Thank
will